Hey, hey.
All right. Namaste. Welcome each and every one of you here on the precipice of the new year.
God.
Once again, good to see you all. It's really a delight to have you join us.
Hey, 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 Amsterdam. Woo!
Her favorite second
Hey,
home.
Gabriel. That's so awesome.
She's just a bundle of delight today, so you'll have to endure her calmly.
Me? Oh, Neil. Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, Neil, good to see you. All right. All right, so we gather here in this New Year's Eve. It's always a time to contemplate as we transition into the next year. This is where, at least in my culture, there is this like, okay, going back to the gym, back on Weight Watchers, reorganizing myself after all these family gatherings and the rest of it. But it's also points to the fact that we're kind of like top of here we go again ride. So the nature of all transitions is just an apparency, but this one has something behind it in terms of astrology, that there is a point where the cycle of life comes to a completion and then starts up again. And we're in the cycle of life. We take it for granted. We take what we are for granted. We take our circumstances and the life we're habituated to for granted, because no matter how wonderful or how awful, the core of us is adaptable. And it finds and takes refuge in whatever nook and cranny or abundance that may be available to bring some peace and some happiness and some joy. This is the design. You have to have joy or you stop playing the game. If the joy goes away, then it becomes more stark. And if it becomes more stark, then at some point, the soul is going to have a voice. Some point, it's going to say, why are we doing this again? Please tell me, why are we doing this again? I don't understand. I've been waiting here for hundreds of years, waiting for this to end. Why are you still taking this ride, paying the price, forgetting you paid for it, forgetting you chose it? We're children. The child in us does bring us joy and happiness. The child in us participates in and celebrates its relationship and community and with each other, with those who have become near and dear to us. It has a role to play, but I'm here for some other purpose. I'm here to remind you of your eternal nature. I'm here to remind you that we're always in the midst of a shifting from one level of consciousness to another. We're engaged, if we know it or not, in shifts in our quality of our attention that occur. This happens in the gunas. The quality of your attention in sattva is different than the quality of your attention in rajas, the quality of your attention in tamas. So the thing that seems to shift is actually being shaped by the ride we're on. But it itself, the consciousness that we are, the thing that is the presence, that's witnessing and experiencing what's happening in the current phase of your life, is eternal. To find this place within yourself, is the beginning of learning the art of life. Until then, it's simply a different vibration of the same ride that they're all going on. All three gunas are on this same ride with you. This is a different ride, one of coming back to what you were and have always been originally and always will be. It's from this place, this quality of inner silence and stillness, that we actually begin to discover what it means to be you, what is the purpose of life, what is your purpose, and how to live. We begin to recognize that there's a whole different organization of our attention that can happen in this ride of life, where we become more and more skillful, more and more, we could say, wise, more and more hip, you could say, to the fact that you're on a ride that everybody else forgets they're on, constantly paying the ticket, not realizing they've chosen it once again. Periodically on the ride, there's a point of choice. A point where you can choose to pay the ticket or not pay the ticket or seek out another ride. The path we're saying is not paying the ticket. Let your old ticket ride out. You'll watch what happens. It'll wind down soon enough. The karmic world becomes quieter. There's less demand on you. You become simple until you become, and your life becomes simple. So the art of life is to recognize that we are the tide. We are the current. We are the one that's playing in the current, but that comes in time. Initially, we have to back away from the ever-absorbing and distracting movement of existence by becoming that which doesn't move, that which doesn't change. So it's been an extraordinary year on multiple levels, outward and inwardly. What came back from India with me was a piece of that lineage of the unchanging stillness. And it came to find a place for itself here, where I am now, physically in Washoe Valley. And it has found a place, and it has found a voice. And those who have been in this third pillar have been listening to its voice, recognizing a quality of transmission and entrainment, and a shift in the fundamental structure vibrational field of you, the person, not just you, the presence, the awareness, the context. It's been working on the very essential quality of you as the perceiver, enhancing your capacity to see the game at work when it's going on. Not afterwards with regret or doubt or longing or missing or attachment, but in the moment. They say a new year, and I say it's always new. It's only you that has a remnant of old or future in the way of the endless new. So in this third pillar, which started in India, which gave it a name, called it the third pillar, the guru, that which is beyond the gunas, that which is beyond the play, and spoke of its embodiment and the power of the embodied quality when it becomes conscious of itself as that. And that becomes a means of stepping right into the midst of the endless movement of cycle, of something that does not ever change, yet always new. So this is what to celebrate. And in the third pillar, through the sequence, the first sequence, of course, was the stroke. And I had my first true encounter with death as a person, though I don't know what exactly the circumstances were energetically. That's what happened. And I met the end as well as the beginning in that short period of time. And when I came out, I knew that what I intuited before had come. And it's remarkable because it lived in my human heart as Krishna, the Lord of my life, that which I've given my person over to. And through that form, there were other forms. There was Sri Atmananda. There was Sri Aurobindo. There was Mera Baba. There was even Werner Erhard. They were all my lineage. They were all part of the same Krishna. See, the secret is there's only one me, and you're it. In that paradox, there's only one I, and you have it. It's your I. It's your me. It's your my. It's the thing in you that breathes your body. It's the thing in you that lives in your awareness, but also lives in every component of your embodied existence, your heartfelt human emotion, your longing, your need, your doubts, your fears, your concerns. It's that which enhances the quality of the experience of this ride, so that you can see and know it in a quality of detail and intimacy, such that you truly know it. See, and the Gita says there's only three motives for action: the knower, the known, and the process. When those three come together, when the knower and that which is being known and the process complete, then the knowledge is yours. You become that. There's only one body. It's subject to many, many different forms, but there's only one body, one aggregation of consciousness and matter, of which each of us are an expression. We're a crop of humanity, each of us. And this crop was a seed, and the seed was the supreme. And that seed grew in the soil of matter and came out and woke up as you, or me, or however you want to label it. That quality of what it is we are in essence. When we find that place, we always live in new, now. Even if the new now is coded by whatever content that's still running you, still doing its time, because as long as there's body, there is spinning. As long as there's breath, there is movement in this dimension. When the breath stops, then the movement stops. And then the silence and stillness is there, and we transition. This body is shed, but we don't go anywhere. We don't go up or down or right or left. We go to the one place that we've always been. We've never left it. It's an armchair cacophony. You're not realizing you're in that chair because you're in the cacophony. Like watching a horrific or interesting movie. You forget you're watching a movie. You become the movie. See, my first training in this quality of consciousness was as a projectionist when I was 15 years old in my parents' movie theater. My father was a teacher, and they saved $20,000 back then. $20,000 was enough to buy a 100-seat movie theater in the outbound deep redwood forest town, and that was a resort area. So 14. My father saw I was mechanically inclined, so he said, you learn to run the projectors. And I was excited about that. I loved machines at that time. And I learned how to run the projector, and it was a kind of a random thing because I'm ADD, partially ADD and bipolar. So keeping track of 4 reels was always a chore. The issue with that was that it was really like in that projection booth with the 2 projectors, because there was one running and one being prepared to run. Then you did that dramatic switch where on the screen you just saw a blip, but in the projector room you knew there was a lot going on for that to happen. So I was already in the projector booth. I was already recognizing that I was the source of the light and the movement of the reel that was keeping people in the entertainment of whatever it was they paid the ticket to watch, to go on the ride of. So there was an innate preparation for the consciousness that was coming later. The universe works like this because you forget everything when you take your body. That's a requirement for a mission. No past, no memory of your death, no memory of your life after your death, no memory of the previous life is allowed to enter. It's all or nothing. And then bit by bit, life starts revealing itself through its ever-changing circumstances, that which you already know. That's why people listen to me, because I'm not saying anything new. I'm saying what you already know. And when I say it, well, you already know, it resonates. And I know that. I just forgot in the endless movement of my life. I'm in the same armchair. So I sit here instead of standing up, because this is a more comfortable position for my eternal position. What is this that happens? What is it that comes through as I play with you? As I dance in this truth of what it is we're doing? It loves company. That's one thing about the 3rd pillar. The relationships that formed between people was extraordinary. It was invested, it was committed, it was aligned, yet it had space for people to own their own processes. It was like a continuous small group, continuously unfolding with small groups going on at the same time. It was endless. It was endless because it was taking what life is and making a microism in this context, so that everything that is the story that you run becomes thinner, more transparent. When I was a projectionist, there was a certain phase that would happen. The film would break, because this was old, brittle nitrate film that would eventually wear out, and these were usually old movies. And it would break, and then you'd be on the screen, and you would see the screen, and suddenly everything stopped. And then it would just melt and disappear. And there was just pure light. When the reel finishes its run, what's left is just pure light. Silence, stillness is endless fulfillment in that all-pervading, pervasive quality of unconditional being and love. Being doesn't even need to be in the becoming. Being is prior to the becoming. It organizes around a me. It organizes around the celebration of itself being awake as you, as me. When that light comes and there's nothing but light, you're that. And that's the only time the light can know itself. And there's only one you that ever has that experience, of which each of us, when it comes, we are. That one supreme being, that one supreme body, that one supreme mind, that one supreme heart, of which we are all part of the same substance. So the pillar is a dive into what true humanity is a dive into an organization of purposeful life with structure and schedule and time and sacrifice and self-giving and surrender. Because life doesn't give us that much opportunity, because it's usually designed to keep us comfortable. and keep things the same. But we're in a situation like this, where it's only truth that's seeking to manifest, that everything in life that is still running will start dissolving in the brilliance of the light that you've decided to merge yourself into. And the karmas dissolve, the habits dissolve, multi-lifetime structures become apparent and then fall away. So this year has been deeply satisfying for me, deeply fulfilling to watch struggling spiritual souls become more and more aware of their own sacredness, of the sacredness of their purpose. They become aware of the current and its sacred purpose that lives them in a way that they hardly have to pay attention to it. It just has them show up. It lives them each day. It surrenders so completely. It is only simply another opportunity for the now to show itself, to be experienced, and to pass as another now arises, to learn to live in the newness. So this is not just beautiful words. This is not just a tale of imagination. This is a gritty application of effort over time, every day. In the first pillar program, it was done in the subtle plane. Me and a few people, Siddhartha, Abram, other people who were with me were carrying something, and there's some who were visiting. I think we did a 6-day in the first pillar, right? Yes. And those who came for that first 6th day. There was something of a gestation, a forming, an organization, so it wasn't articulate. We had to cancel that particular session outwardly, but inwardly it was happening with those who were with me. I knew I just needed 5 people, and I had more than 5 people with me, physically. And that was enough. In the second pillar, it became a outward expression of that, and people showed up that were just by themselves already far along in the journey. There's something in them that said, yes, this could do it even better than I could do it myself, and committed themselves to the process. And these same people did mostly, almost all but one, did the final pillar we just completed. And I got to tell you, I witnessed miracles. I believe they witnessed miracles. Things that I have in my long life of human life and spiritual life, I've never seen before, coming together in a co-creating fellowship that I am now clear is an expression of the new humanity. Each person who participated is now a living, embodied expression of that possibility. So I will continue to do third pillars for as long as I'm able, because this is the epitome of my work. And the nature of these unfolding programs will, in their own right, create new teachers, new people who can take this and bring it to others. I'm not going, but Satchamayi and those of the core team of the Pillar program are already there. We'll be creating programs in Europe. We will be empowering them by empowering the broader community and new people through this very same practice, finding that silence and stillness, being with someone where it is establishing itself, witnessing and participating with them in such a way that the quality of their maturity enhances your maturing capacity to be. So the work is at its most effective point, and yet the art of it has been for me to keep pulling back. I've been told to step back so that you can step forward. again and again. It seems that the art of manifestation is less and less doing and more not doing, even the non-doing action. So I take care of the chickens every other day. I'm a companion for Satyamayee 24 hours a day. 2 dogs, a cluster of birds that come because she keeps feeding them, horses that periodically wander, coyotes that cause the dogs to howl. I live so simple. I carry water, I literally carry water, and I cut bread, as well as chicken food. And these seem to be my preoccupations, except for these moments when I'm with you, and then the whole universe comes and opens back up. So the invitation is to join in a possibility of a true newness, a true new year, decade, era, by being that newness, by being willing to shed the oldness, by willing to let go of the future, to be able to convert possibility into a direct, immediate experience of the reality that's right here, right now. All the excitement and enthusiasm of possibility is nothing but the Supreme Being finding a place in you a little bit more to the surface than usual. And so there's joy and there's possibility and there's wonder and oh yeah, the new. But if you stay with just the new, then you will give up what would be happening outward, but find the endless new within. This is how you master Rajas. Rajas is always moving, always wants new. If you take the newness, if you take the joy and don't spend it, you keep it, that newness grows in you. That's how you conquer Rajas. Rajas becomes powerful and it can begin to intrude into the tamas automatically. It begins to convert the tamas into Rajas, which is joy, and joy into nowness and immediacy, which would be sattva, but it actually takes you to a place beyond sattva. That which is beyond the gunas. See, you're all in a stage of the journey. You're all at different places, and the nature of that doesn't really change, even though circumstances and your relationship with circumstances may change. The way you can tell where you are on the stage is how you react and respond to life. How much natural capacity to be with yourself remains, even with the onslaughts, even with the challenges, even with the excitements and the distractions. What is that which lasts? What is true? It's that which lasts, that which remains when everything else is gone. Like faith is also expression of that very same principle. Whatever it is, it's just arising for a purpose of unfolding, to show to me that which is left or that which I'm becoming. This is not new. These words are not new. I don't know how many times I've said these words in some form or another throughout the years. It's always the same message. But you notice that in the immediacy of each time, how new it is, how original it is, how it seems to bring new life, how it seems to open up something within us that makes this matter here now. It's captivating, like movies are captivating, but it takes you to a place within yourself other than those where those take you. It's a captivation into the truth of what is so now. If you look on the website, you'll see there's been a dramatic shifting in its material. That's because the fellowship is working to reorganize the thousand maybe, of my talks and my programs and my materials. So it's more accessible, more attractive, more easy to get to. And on the first page, there's a picture of me, and it's called Awakening to the Original Intent. And I'll read it, because the message is not new, but right now it's new. So I'll say this in an outward form from the past to make it new now, again. The original intent is the first movement in consciousness that brought forth creation. The original intent is the first movement in consciousness that brought forth creation. It carries the purposeful current of Satchitananda, truth, consciousness, and love. We are expressions of this current and original intent. It's the reason we are born, the reason we are alive, the reason we live, the reason we are here now. Waking up to the original intent and embodying the truth and love we are is the greatest possibility in a human birth. We are called to come into existence in a new way, an absolutely new way. Not a new way within the old way, but endlessly new in every moment. In doing so, we are shifting the paradigm that humanity is now into a new one that serves the evolutionary possibility. This is, in essence, the work of Shree and New Dharma and all those who serve. So here we are, my loves. Every one of you are my loves. Please know that. You don't need to deserve it. Just have faith that it's there. This is the celebration of what I am now, is I get to love you this way. No claim, no requirement. For me, you're a purposeful unfolding of the same divine principle that I've become. Please accept this love. Let it in. It is a grace. All it wants to do is be known by you so that it can be yours. See, I look at you, looking at me. You see me looking at you. I see you looking at me. It's a feeding. It's a embrace. And it's a current. Enters into the middle of your body and expands outward. It gives you the permission to be just as you are, and then also the space to be different. This is darshan. If you sense it but you can't feel it, just set an intent to open the grace. If it's not yet yours, then set an intent to be able to make it yours. See, the intent has nothing to do with your faith, with your strength or your discipline or your effort. It has everything to do with your faith. Intent and faith are two expressions of the one same original intent, both of which create existence anew. It's like a prayer, but it's an alignment of the person. It says, prepare me to receive you. Allow me to discover, without knowing how I'm doing it, that which I long for, that which I thirst for, hungry for, aspire for. And watch, pay attention, because it will come. But we don't tend to pay attention because our mind comes in and says, oh, this is more the same, more the same, more the same. Never believing, never trusting, doubting the faith, doubting the intent, the enemy of your own boundless reality. This is called Maya. Not your fault. We all have to take on the cloak of Maya to have a body. I take on the cloak to have a body includes having emotions, having feelings, having mind and memory and judgments and evaluations and fears and the sense of burden or overwhelm or shame or diminishment or anger or blame. This is the price. You can't come to the light without knowing the darkness. That's the name. That's the rule. The more you know that which is hidden, the more room there is for that which is eternally light, truth, love. The core of my teachings is meditation. First, because it came natural to me. Second, it is a valid path. We sit silent and still with ourselves to be empty, still, silent. This prepares the body, the endless, restless, churning emotions, and the endless, distracted, active mind, a place to head towards, to collaborate with, to grow quieter, to become calm, to become still, to find the silence and the peace that follows and the bliss that follows that. all there within your body. It's time to bring the body up, to bring back what we have as the yoga techniques, the elemental techniques and the chakra techniques and the various other mantras. I put them on the shelf because there was so much other focus needed and so few people. But for those in the pillar, if you have not learned the elemental techniques, it's time to learn the elemental techniques. And those in the pillar who have learned the elemental techniques, it's time to learn the chakra techniques. We're going to incorporate them in. These are powerful techniques. They not only awaken the capacity of your consciousness and your body, it also infuses your vital and mental nature with a quality of yourself that's larger than the one you're habituated to as a human being. And when you become masterful, when you have learned the elemental techniques, then teaching it to others opens up doorways for you in the vibrational fields of the subtle elemental elements that enhances your current body to become more capable as a vessel for what you're becoming. And when you have mastered the elemental techniques, you learn the chakra techniques. And those few who have learned them, it's quite demanding, begin to teach it to others. It really takes your body to a whole new frequency in terms of the range and depth of your system to know. Your body begins to know in ways it never knew before. Not just through the mind, but through the direct knowing, the immediacy of knowing that is felt and real. So in this way, you become prepared to be a vessel, an agency for that which is happening in this process of your alignment with this possibility I hold for all of you. So we'll have to look at this because right now we have so few people. But that's what I would like to bring forward in this coming year as an element by which people can develop their bodies, but also a means for those who graduate from the pillar program can be continuing to teach and expand in their capacity to bring forward the quality of the third pillar in their lived daily lives. So that's what I see as next. Between now and the next pillar, those of you who have completed the pillar, stay engaged in the forms of this structure I have created and which you are now creating. Co-create, continue to co-create with each other and stay in relationship with each other. Continue to recognize that the purpose of the third pillar is not to complete the third program, but to become the newness, to become an endless unfolding of that newness, not only for yourself, but for others. So New Dharma as a legal entity is changing. It's very likely to become a church. A church is not owned by one person. It's owned by the fellowship that joins and participates in the church. They run the church. I'll stand behind that church, but I will not be an expression of that church except rarely and only for those who are actually bringing forward this new structure. This is how it has to be. It has to be given away. It has to be launched. You heard the fellowship share in the event that was called I believe it was the fundraiser, but I'm not sure what it ended up being called. The launch probably. There was a lot demonstrated in that of what's coming. Beyond that, I don't know. I don't need to know. We don't need to know. Okay, so there it is. This New Year's message, once again, same message, just a new now. Some of you have been around with me long enough that even the new sounds old. Yeah. Faith has played a role in your life, have no doubt. So we'll finish with a silent sitting for 15 minutes. Namaste to you all.